Those who know me well know that I am a radio enthusiast. This is a review of a radio. In 2013, when I heard about the C-Crane CC2E, which was an enhanced version, is an enhanced version, because they still make it and sell it, of the C-Crane CC2, I wanted it, because it seemed like the perfect radio. Absolutely wonderful AM for the most part, except for C-Crane's famous AM overloading issue. Great FM, and weather band, and the 2-meter amateur radio band to listen to Skywarn spotters when the weather gets bad, and just to listen to ham repeaters on 2 meters in your local area. It seemed like an absolutely great radio, plus C-Crane's bass and treble controls, and the 5-inch speaker that they put in the thing. I think it's a 5-inch speaker, because C-Crane radios sound good. But I had one problem about the radio, and that is the price. So I didn't get it. I got the next best thing, which was a C-Crane CCEP, which is a simple analog set. It was just AM and FM. It overloaded like crazy on AM. It was absolutely awful, because we have 2 local signals and they're right next to each other. Well, not quite right next to each other, but they're really close. The overloading just got on my nerves. Plus AM wasn't the most selective thing, seeing how it was an analog design, so I guess I can't really complain about that too much. But it wasn't the best signal chaser. There's plenty of FM radios that are more sensitive than the C-Crane, even going barefoot, which means without any special antenna modifications or antennas at all. But I had to part ways with that radio because the tuning string broke less than a year after I got it. It was sad. Fast forward to Christmas 2K15, and I hear about a radio that wasn't really a popular radio. It's apparently been out for quite some time, but just now hearing about it. There was an article posted on Herculodge. And the guy behind Herculodge also recommended it to Radio J. Allen. I read his blog. And they both made the claim, so I have reason to believe, since they both made the same claim, that the radio performs especially on AM because, AM is the strong spot of both radios here. That it performs pretty much identically to the C-Crane CC2E at less than half the price. So, of course, I had to get this radio. Good FM, good AM, and weather, and less than half of the price of the C-Crane CC2E, which is the radio I wanted but never got. It was a no-brainer. It didn't have bass and treble controls, but, whatever. So I did an unboxing video of this radio on Christmas, on that lovely Christmas afternoon, and my first impressions of the radio, I was amazed at how small this set was. I knew that it was going to be a smaller set, but I didn't think it was going to be this small. This thing is rather minuscule. It's not, pocket-sized, but it's rather small. Plus, I don't really like the finish. It's got a smooth finish. And the sides are rather rounded. It has a modern feel to it, but I can look past it. It's alright. I was also impressed, that they made the claims that the radio performed as good as the CC2E, but it's not as wide. So it made me wonder how long the AM ferrite bar antenna was in the thing. if you can see this protruding thing here on the back, right there. I don't know if you can see it. You know, it's hard to see things myself, so I hope you can see what I'm talking about. If the AM antenna is here, that's a short ferrite bar. So Sangean had to work their manufacturing magic somehow. And evidently it worked. And this thing performs pretty much identically to the CCEP, which I had. And to be honest, I think it actually performs a bit better. It definitely doesn't overload. And it has more bandwidth options. So if I'm getting any annoying interference from an adjacent signal on AM, I can easily adjust the bandwidth to fix the problem as best as I possibly can. Features of this radio include AM and FM, obviously. There's 2 AM bands and 2 FM bands. Now, at first when I heard about this feature, I thought it was over the top, but it's actually really convenient, and I'll get to it later. It has weather band, obviously, which was another strong point for me getting this radio. It has an auxiliary input here on the side, next to the headphone 3.5 millimeters headphone stereo jack. It has a clock, which I will not be using, a sleep timer, which I never use a sleep timer on anything that has one, and a display, obviously. You can scan for stations. There's a scan button right next to the up and down tuning buttons, and if you press it, it'll keep scanning for stations and remain on the station for I think it's 6 or 7 seconds before it goes to the next one, until you hit the scan button again, and then it'll stop on the last station. This radio is powered by 4 D batteries. You open the compartment and the door stays on, so you cannot lose the door unless you yank it off and break it, and then you can lose it. This is the pull cable, which is on pretty much in every battery compartment ever. And it can also be powered by the included 6-volt wall wart, which is plugged in right now. This radio has a 3-inch speaker. But by God, do not let that turn you away from getting this radio because of its sound. This thing sounds beautiful for a 3-inch speaker. That's another good thing about modern manufacturing. You know, I am against a lot of modern electronics, but one good thing is manufacturers have really figured out how to make something sound good. Something in a small package. I'll let you listen to AM. I mean, not AM. I mean, you can listen to it later. But I'll let you listen to FM now. And listen to how good that this sounds. It's amazing. I gotta, make sure the wall wart cord isn't going to fall out of the wall. Alright. Listen, dig this. Avoiding copyright. This is the scan button.
He wanted to show his support. We were like, look, if you go through with this, this has to happen. This has to be real. He's okay.
So there's that. The FM band was open earlier. I was getting a station I've never really gotten before, I don't think, on 96.5 a little while earlier, but that's the thing about the FM band. It's very unpredictable. AM is a lot more predictable with DXing. But this is where I'll go ahead and talk about the 2 FM and AM bands. This is where you kind of the longer you own this radio, the more convenient you realize it is. It's one of those features. I'll turn on the radio. I'll go to my first preset. And you can go to
at Piedmont
presets.
Help Wanted.
Pretty much all the music I listen to in a nutshell. Not this modern pop crap. What I like to do, there aren't really many local FMs that I like. So I can store 5 stations on one band. But then I can go to the other FM band, FM2, obviously, because not FM3. That'd be skipping numbers like Microsoft going from Windows 8.1 to 10.
Years ago, the world economy was
You can save presets of stations that you've DX'd on that band, or stations that frequently come in, or stations that are located in places that you frequent. So that is pretty convenient. Or you can, have 10 local presets on the bands, 5 on each band. Whatever floats your boat. I like to do said thing there. And now for AM, I'm going to go away from the viewing area because, Facebook Messenger, yippee. Seeing how the laptop is the only thing that I can film with, and it has terrible RFI, I have to go as far from the laptop as possible to demonstrate AM. So, right now, I'll show you what this thing sounds like on a 1280 out of Salisbury. It's like an hour, it's like a half an hour from here. It's a little 1,000 watt station. And keep in mind, a lot of the noise you're hearing is RFI from the laptop. So it sounds really, it has a rather clean sound to it. I'll show you auto tracking. What auto tracking does, Sangean claims this is to improve the sound of an AM station. I'll turn to 1280. You know how it dropped out and came back in, and then it kind of went, and then the station went to normal? What I think it does is adjusts the RF gain according to how strong the station is. And then it goes a little off the frequency and back onto the frequency. But there are some caveats with this. That's a classic country station out of Statesville, which is about an hour from here, and it's a little 500 watt candle at 550. Sometimes what it'll do, I'll see if it'll do it now, is it will come in. No, it's not going to do it, because it has to be perfect for the video. What it'll do is it'll drop out and never come back unless you go to the frequency again, which is rather annoying. It's not a gigantic problem, but I'd rather not. And another thing is, when you're going to an AM preset, sometimes the auto tracking doesn't even kick in, so it can sound terrible on a station. You'll hear a lot of distortion, but then you go back to the frequency, you go down one and then back to it, or up one and back to it, whatever. The auto tracking kicks in and adjusts the problem, and you're well on your way. So that's the caveat with AM. The caveat with FM, which I kind of forgot to mention a little while earlier, is it takes an insanely strong signal to get to stereophonic FM. So if you want to pull in a far station and record it to an external recorder, or listen in stereo, good luck. You can try, but you'll fail, I promise. I've tried it, and I failed. With the weather band, there are no caveats there. It's kind of hard to have caveats on a weather band. All it is 7 channels.
For the northern mountains and
You can't, it doesn't have, same functionality, which is,
then extensive rain in the
where it you can program it to only come on to alerts of a specific location, your county for example, and specific alerts. This doesn't have that, but it's all right. This isn't meant to be primarily a weather radio. It's there as a convenience, so nothing really to complain about there. One thing that I find quite interesting, actually a couple of things, you can save presets on the weather band.
mostly sunny. Below normal. The normal high
I don't know why you would want to do that, seeing how the weather band only has 7 channels anyways, and you can easily go to a desired channel really quickly. If I wanted to go
63.
to the Mooresville station, I'm already there.
July 1st is 1.
If I want to listen to the Albemarle station, I'm already there.
Lows in the upper 30s.
This has quite amazing weather band reception. It is almost better than my Midland weather radio. In fact, I think it is better. I haven't really listened to the Midland in a while because I haven't really had to. This has a better speaker than the Midland. But that's pretty much it for this radio. One more thing that I will demonstrate, however, before I leave, since I'm not going to demonstrate the clock and the sleep timer, is changing tuning steps. If you hold down the band selection button when the radio is off and wait for the beep, you can change your FM tuning step from 100 hertz, 50 hertz, 100 hertz or 50 hertz. Press it again and you can change your AM tuning step from 9 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz or 10 to 9. And then press it again to go back to standby. I didn't need to make any changes because everything was correct. That's pretty much it for this radio. I hope you got something out of this review. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you were thinking about getting this radio, I hope this aided in your decision, either for or against it. And that's about it. I'll catch you guys later.